What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl JD here, back with another video. Yes, I am in the same clothes. Okay, I was on a roll. I was like, we need to get these videos out because I've just been holding on for these for too long. So we're gonna get into 90 Day Fiancé, The Last Resort. This is season 2. I talked a little bit about season 1 in another video if you guys want to watch that. I don't know, but I did not see that much interest in, the couples that were on that season, but this season, ciao. That's all I gotta say is ciao, okay? The Last Resort is basically where the 90 Day Fiancé couples go from all the different shows that have reached their wits' end in their relationships and or marriages. So they have their therapy sessions along the way leading up to their recommitment ceremonies or the day that they decide to call it quits on their relationship or marriage as a whole. I was not surprised to see who was there. Okay, I was not surprised when I saw the names of the couples that were going to be on this season. So first we have Ari and Benny, then we have Brandon and Julia, Stacy and Florian, Rob and Sophie, Natalie and Josh, and Gino and Jasmine. So I've only watched up to episode 8 so far. I'm sure by the time as I release this, they might have already put out another episode or 2. So yeah, but I'm working as fast as I can, okay? So we're just going to be talking up to episode 8. Now, I'm just going to go couple by couple and kind of talk about their issues because I feel like that would still be easier, even though they are technically all together. It's not like separate stories like how it would be in 90 Day Fiancé, the regular shows. I would still try to go couple by couple to give their individualized problems, even though some of these problems come from other couples. So I'm going to try my best to remember everything. The couples check in, and I think the very first couple to check in was Gino and Jasmine. I think I'm probably going to save them for the last. Honestly, every time I talk about them, I have to save them for the last because there is so much going on with their marriage. Even before they got married, like it was so much. But now it's just kind of intensified. So we're going to talk about Ari and Benny first. Now, I have not seen them in a hot minute on 90 Day Fiancé, like any of the shows. Last time I did see them though was after Ari had their child, their son. It looked as though I think Benny, he'd moved to the States and they were trying to make things work, living together and all. But it just seemed like Benny just was on this like party-ish lifestyle, like trying to go out all the time. I think he at one point was trying to be a fighter, like a UFC fighter or something like that. Y'all let me know. I don't know. But there was a lot going on in their relationship. But now we see that they are pretty much estranged from each other, and it looks as though they're really struggling to communicate. And I think it's in part because of how much Ari, I guess, feels hurt by the things that Benny has done. She also kind of accused him of basically cheating with another woman in their home. So yeah. And then also talking to women on his social media. And she just was like, oh, since you're going to do that, I'm going to basically block you out of your accounts. So now he wants his social media back, but he claims it's to talk to family and friends. And I'm just like, sure. I just feel like Benny is kind of a playboy overall, but I think that Ari also has her ways about her where he doesn't really feel comfortable with trying to come to some type of resolve with their marriage. We see that when it comes to certain challenges, because during the show they have them do therapy sessions and also take part in challenges and stuff to get them to kind of come together as a couple. There was one particular challenge when I think they were walking through the desert and they got paired with Florian and Stacy. So Stacy hops on Florian's back and now Ari is trying to hop on Benny's back and he's just like, I'm not into this, like you're doing too much. So that escalates into another thing. And then also when we see that Benny, he keeps talking to other people and mingling with them instead of trying to resolve their issues, which is what they're here for. So it makes Ari even more upset. And I understand that, but at the same time, it's just like, I mean, girl, like he's not going to want to open up if you keep whining. If I had to deal with someone that was like every 2 seconds like, oh, we're here for us, you need to touch me, you need to put me on your back, like, like if they're not really comfortable with doing that yet, don't push them. You're gonna push them away, which is what she was kind of doing with Benny in my opinion. But I do also feel like Benny has his standoffish ways, but I understand it watching how they would interact with each other. But I would say when it comes to their relationship, it seems like more of a friendship friendship right now. But you could see that Ari is like very frustrated because she wants to make it work, but at the same time, she's like, you're gonna have to acknowledge what you did in the past. And Benny doesn't want to do that because he feels like you should just let me say my piece, explain, and we don't talk about this anymore. But the thing is, I think Ari is in a place where she's like trying to process everything, but she does not want to let it go because they haven't really discussed it at all. It's just frustrating, I think, for Benny and frustrating for Ari. So, they're in an interesting spot. Now, Brandon and Julia, I think they finally moved out of Brandon's parents' house and got their own place. But now they're having the dilemma of Brandon wanting kids and Julia not being interested, it seems, at first. She doesn't really sound like she wants to have kids. And also, she's saying that she's homesick. I completely would understand that, especially coming from another country myself, how I would feel if I had to leave my family behind and, you know, try to start a new life with my husband. So I get that. But at the same time, I do think that Julia, she has a very bubbly and like open and fun personality, whereas Brandon is a little bit more conservative, and even Jasmine picked up on that. She was like, I feel like Brandon is kind of boring for Julia because he just strikes me as a person that would just do missionary all the time. And I'm just like, Jasmine, you don't know nothing about these two, like chill. But you could see that they're kind of struggling intimately, and also Brandon is really trying to excite things in the bedroom. And there was also a sex therapist who kind of had them do this challenge where they had to put syrup on their bodies in places where it would be a turn on for them. Brandon was really like eager to do it, and after that she gave them the challenge to kind of explore on their own. But you could see that Julia is still kind of closed off to doing that. Even Jasmine recognized like he's really trying, but Julia is just not there. So it is very interesting to hear when it came to the whole situation of kids that Julia actually heard from a doctor when she was in Russia that she couldn't have children. So now Brandon is like, you know, get a second opinion from a doctor in the US. Like, don't just take his word for it that you can't have kids. Like, what the hell? You know, you want to get a second opinion about things like that, obviously. But I think hearing that just kind of made Julia shut down. And now they're trying to move past that. Stacy and Florian, I thought they were a mismatched couple from the beginning. I really do think Florian was just trying to use Stacy's money, live his best life, and I still think that. For the moment I saw him, I was like, this is a party boy just trying to use you as a sugar mama. And I feel like Darcy is kind of the same way with all her relationships. Like, honestly, I think they just seem to pick all these men that are just too young for them and clearly aren't really interested in them in that way. Like, they just want to have fun, party it up, and that's about it. Florian is pretty much the same way because that's what Stacy is bringing to the table as a problem in their relationship, that they don't really get to spend that much time together because he's always out, and apparently he came back with some lipstick on his shirt one time. And we also see that Florian has a little bit of a anger issue, okay, especially when it comes to Jasmine. But I kind of understood his reaction in that moment because Jasmine was coming to get her husband, Gino. They were drinking and stuff by the bar and having a good time. And she decided, you know, he had enough drinks because he did have enough drinks. Gino was acting kind of weird. But the thing is, Florian wanted to keep going. I guess Jasmine didn't know that it was his drink that she was trying to knock out of his hand. So yeah, it made him pretty upset. And Stacy, she was trying her hardest to calm him down, but he does seem to have a little bit of an anger streak. And that definitely continues when they try to invite him along with all the other couples to Brandon and Julia's room to have a party. And he thinks that he deserves like a separate invitation. And I'm just like, anyways. But Stacey is also pretty dramatic, I'm not gonna lie. Especially when they did that challenge where they had to write something on a rock. If y'all know what I mean. They had to write something that they wanted from their partner on a rock. For some reason, Stacey just starts crying and it's just like, I want to be free. And I'm just like, I'm trying so hard not to laugh in that moment, but it was so funny. But yeah, I do think that they're so mismatched. I really am waiting for the divorce, honestly. Rob and Sophie. still not having sex, okay? I think they probably had sex maybe 3 times since they got married, like a couple of times. And you can see that Rob is getting very sexually frustrated. Rob, don't get me wrong, is still very immature, and I feel like he's very sensitive. But I do think that Sophie also kind of gets in her head, and she even mentions that a couple of times throughout their challenges and therapy sessions in the show, that she gets in her head a lot and she overthinks things. And because of that, we see that, Rob kind of gets in his head and thinks that it's him and he's the problem, and he feels rejected. So now they continue this cycle of like rejection and, like overthinking. And it's like, okay, well, when are we going to get past these issues? So they're still having the same problems that they did during the regular 90 Day Fiancé show. And I don't really know how they're going to work this out, to be honest with you, because I just think that they just keep hitting the same wall. Regardless, they seem to be kind of trying because, they're on the show. But yeah, Natalie and Josh. I don't know why these two are together at all. I don't know why these two are even in this show. I'm trying to figure it out because it's like Natalie's just been off and on with Josh because Josh isn't really giving her what she wants in terms of more of a commitment, and then also being able to meet his family, his son, and possibly moving in together or even just staying at his house. There's just so much to him that is secretive, and she's just getting kind of fed up with it, but at the same time not fed up enough because she hasn't just left the relationship. And now they're here trying to work on the relationship, which I really just think should end because it's like she's wasting her time. And she even mentioned that before in previous 90 Day Fiancé episodes. She's wasting her good years. She only has a few left, if you ask me, because she wants to have kids. And it's just like, you only have a few more years where that's feasible. But also we see that Josh doesn't really like participating in these challenges like that. And he also had to leave at one point because his son had been in an accident a couple of months before or a year before, and it was a very serious one, so now he has to caretake. But at the same time, it gets very interesting because Natalie finds out that Sophie, even though she didn't really care for Sophie to begin with, Sophie was talking to Josh. Was talking to her, I should say. He was trying to invite her to Vegas where he lives, and it just looks very flirtatious. And even Rob's just like, yeah, that looked kind of strange. But what I think is crazy is Natalie's reaction. She just throws a drink on Sophie, and it's just like, why are you throwing a drink on Sophie when it's your man? Like, I don't understand women who think like that. Like, you're just gonna attack or do something to the woman that your man is cheating on you with, but when it comes to your man himself, you don't give him any of that energy. Like, I don't understand. So after that, of course, Sophie's on edge. She's just like, yeah, I don't really care for Natalie like that. Even though Natalie apologized and Sophie had showed her the text messages that Josh sent, she clearly sees that Josh is in the wrong and was clearly flirting with Sophie. But the thing is, you could see that Sophie's like already disinterested. She's just like, yeah, no, I'm good. You could show me who you are one time and I'll believe you. And I'm that type of person too. Like, I'm good on that. Show me one time and I'll believe you the first time, okay? But after Josh comes back, Natalie confronts him. But the thing is, you could see that Josh is never going to really own up to what he did. And on top of that, Natalie eventually is just going to get over it because she wants to be in a relationship with Josh so badly. And when they have this whole canoeing challenge or kayaking challenge, I'm saying canoeing, kayaking challenge, they had kind of cheated and all the other couples were kind of against them as well. So Brennan and Julia ended up winning the prize. But what I find interesting is while they're trying to have their therapy session as a group, Natalie just keeps laughing. And I feel like Natalie just doesn't take anything serious unless it's about her. Anything and everything has to be about her. Every time. Even Julia was just like, it's not about you. Not everything is about you. Like, gee, like it's just so aggravating. So I had to switch over to my phone camera, you guys, because my actual camera's battery died. And I was like, you know what? We're just going to sit here and film the rest because I only had one more couple to talk about, and that was Gino and Jasmine. And I have to say, in short, when it comes to Gino, I understand what he's saying in terms of Jasmine being kind of like overbearing and kind of crazy sometimes and saying all the wrong things. But at the same time, it's like in your marriage, you want to be intimate physically because that's a big component. And the fact that they still haven't done anything, even after the other 90 Day Fiancé video that I did, I'll link it in the corner here. Even after that, I think that it's so crazy that they still have not been intimate and also still struggle with even him touching her. And you could see her really trying during the show. Like, she tries to kiss him even at one point, and he's just like, no, I'm not into it. I don't want to do that right now. And it's just like, Gino, y'all are here to work on your relationship. I understand like her taking the drink from Florian, and when they are having a good time, she just kind of ruins it because it's not really like about her. But at the same time, it's just like, y'all aren't here to really have a good group time as guys like that. Even though that's awesome to have some friends to blow off some steam, but at the same time, it's just like, y'all are here for your relationship. Take it serious. And it just feels like they're gonna still be stuck. Like they're still stuck in that same just cycle. You could see that Jasmine is trying to get over their little hump, but now we see that Jasmine is pretty much considering bringing someone else into their relationship, and Gino has this big problem with it. But at the same time, it's like, if you don't even want to try to give her what she needs physically, hell yeah, she probably gonna consider opening up their relationship. Hell yeah, she probably gonna cheat on you. Obviously, I don't condone cheating, but I would understand, because there have been some rumors recently that I saw where she actually cheated on him and actually had someone else's child. But y'all correct me on that if I'm wrong, but that's what I saw, and I thought that was absolutely crazy. I was like, whoa, that's a lot. But at the same time, I get it, you know, after seeing them struggle for so long, I would get frustrated too. But more than likely for me, I probably just leave the relationship. I wouldn't do nothing like that where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna cheat and I'm just gonna be okay with getting pregnant, and then I get pregnant for another man, you know what I mean? Like that would just be crazy for me. But I think for Jasmine, for her to be in that situation for so long, leaving her country with her family and friends and everybody to come to freaking Michigan to live with you, and now you can't even give her what she wants, like physically, like that's just baffling to me. I completely get it. I get it. I don't condone it, but I get it. You know what I mean? I just don't understand how, when it came to that whole syrup like challenge where they had to put it on their body, how they could be so open to it. But at the same time, it's like Gino is just stuck in his head at this point, and he's just like, yeah, I'm not even going to try. So I completely would get why she would just be like, either we open the relationship or I cheat. Like, there's not that many options to fulfill my needs if you're not going to do it. They're in an interesting spot. This is really the last resort for Gino and Jasmine. For the other couples, I feel like they could just like either break up or figure out their issues. But for Gino and Jasmine, it's been too long. Too much has transpired. Like, either y'all get it together or just leave. I can't take this anymore. Like, this is the last resort, literally. But y'all let me know your thoughts on this one down in the comments. I'll try to obviously keep you guys updated on the next couple of episodes in another video, so do stay tuned. But I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.